Cooper. Cooper with a great chance. Cooper must make it four. He does.
The Full-Time Review Show is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental, and also by Craig International, who are paving the way for global sustainable procurement. With concerns for the environment at the front of everybody's minds, they are committed to helping their customers work more sustainably and are taking steps within their own business to reduce their carbon footprint. To find out more about EcoBuy and how Craig International are driving responsible procurement, I suggest you click on their website and check out what they do. You will not be disappointed. It's a brand new website and it's hugely impressive. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Abu Dhabi-based Quipco International, who offer manufacturing and repair services to the oil and gas industries and who have come on recently as an ABTV sponsor. My thanks to owner Alan Cameron for his support. My thanks to Mark Mayer for sending me this video yesterday of the pre-game scenes at Pittodrie. We were all set yesterday. The fans were ready to do their part, but unfortunately, an absolute calamity at the end and a ridiculous fall from grace when we were 2-0 up and cruising meant the game quite inexplicably finished 2-2. It means this to the table. So with Hibs and Dundee United both winning over the weekend, it basically meant that we dropped down to 5th place when we had an opportunity to go 3rd for at least a good couple of hours and put some pressure on Hibs. And at one point, leading up to half time, it looked like we were going to do just that. Here's your headlines. My thanks to @DonsCollector on X for putting this newspaper montage together for me. And then it says it all, doesn't it? Hadji strikes, saves the day for 10-man Rangers. And not just 10 men, a reserve side as well, which makes it even more galling. How are you doing? A very warm welcome to the show this Monday night, the day after. We inexplicably threw it away. And we did just that. We threw it away. Tonight, Andrew Budge and I have done our best to keep our emotions in check, to bring you a 10-minute analytical piece on the positives and the negatives of yesterday's game, and where we think the manager got it completely wrong with his substitutions. Now, I know there's been a lot of debate recently over the past few hours about the substitutions that the manager made yesterday and whether it did, in fact, impact the game. And we're going to show you that it did. Topi Keskinen, I have no issues. He asked to come off. I have no issues with that. Antti Palaversa, he was teetering on getting a second yellow, so I have no issues with that whatsoever. What I have issues with is the players he brought on. And I also have an issue with the fact that he took off Shayden Morris, which I discuss more with Andrew during the chat. I cannot understand why he tinkered with the team yesterday when we were in a winning position. Why did he put Graham Shinney into midfield when Graham was having one of the best games at left back? And as we've seen recently, if you've been watching the analytical parts, that he is doing a fantastic job at left back. I cannot understand for the life of me why he got shifted into midfield. I cannot understand for the life of me why he couldn't just go like for like. So he takes off Palaversa. Surely the call, and forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn, honestly, forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn. Bring Dante on and just go like for like. Yeppe comes on for Shayden, that's fine, that's like for like. But I don't get it. I just don't get it. And we're going to show you a little bit later how ineffective the substitutions were, because it's frightening how ineffective they were. Again, I talk about it with Andrew. The game management yesterday from the second half was shocking. Absolutely shocking. Now, I know we had our opportunities to win the game. And I know that we had 3 or 4 chances to put that game to bed and put ourselves well out of sight. And we didn't take our chances. We were guilty of missing 2 or 3 glaring chances, which on another day might have gone in. But we should have killed that game off. We should not have given them any glimmer of hope. We should not have given them a sniff. We came out at the start of the second half, and I'm thinking to myself, what's happened here? Have we just come out to contain them all of a sudden? What's happened? Why do they now have the bulk of possession? Why are we now chasing them with 10 men? A reserve side? What was going on? And we got punished. Honestly, it's not often that I'm lost for words about football matches. But that yesterday, it put me in such a bad mood. Oh my God, I think I'm still in a bad mood. And I know we didn't lose. I get that. We didn't lose the game. But it felt like a defeat. It felt like a 5-0 defeat. I need to watch my blood pressure. So, a little bit later, Andrew and I will discuss it. It's coming up very soon. We've got the normal housekeeping stuff for you as well. And it's a very special day today in the club's history, which we shall discuss a little bit later. And of course, we will get you guys on. So, first things first. By the way, so the manager made one change yesterday for the team. It was an unchanged team that started the game against Ross County. So it was the same starting 11. Let's not forget, the post-split fixtures have just been announced in the past couple of hours or so, and this is what it means. So we start at home against Hibs, and then it's St Mirren away, Rangers away, Celtic at home, and then we finish against Dundee United. So quite a few games there in quick succession. So the 11th, the 14th and the 17th, all within quick succession. Right, here's your match stats from yesterday, if you can absolutely bear to look at this. So we enjoyed 52.4% of possession of the ball. We had 17 shots at goal yesterday to their 12, but we only managed 5 on target. Touches inside the box, I was a little bit disappointed with this. I thought we should have done better. 27 in total to their 17. And in the final third, we actually did okay. I thought we were sort of, at times, I felt we were guilty of not being creative enough. But overall, the stats show that we actually did okay. So 95 successful final third passes to their 85. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Andrew on so you can watch this segment now. We'll hear from the manager, and then I'll start getting you guys on so you can give me your thoughts on basically what you think went wrong yesterday. Here's Andrew Budge. Hi mate, how you doing? It's great to see you as always. I have a very simple question for you. Have you calmed down?
Yeah, just about. I've been watching it back again today. It was a bit painful. Yeah, I enjoyed us messaging each other during the game and just getting gradually more and more worked up about the performance. Yeah, just hugely disappointing to not see the game out. I thought we were really good for 60, 70 minutes, but yeah, as I said, just didn't see it out. I think another day it could have been 4 or 5 and just feels like a really big missed opportunity. Would have loved to have really put quite a few past them, but yeah, what can you do?
Yeah. Okay. We will concentrate on the positives a little bit later, but let's get the negativity out of the road first and where it basically all went wrong for us yesterday. I said it in the previous show. Watch the long balls. Be aware of the long balls. 2 long balls, 2 goals. I just can't believe it, mate. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, I know. I thought the sort of defensively we barely put a foot wrong like all game, and it was just, as you said, 2 long balls, and we just fared to deal with them. Yeah, the first one Dorrington, I guess Canuster tries to win the ball. It's maybe a ball he kind of has to go for, and he loses the header
Yeah.
to Curtis, who looked pretty bright in the second half. But yeah, Dorrington just gets kind of caught under the ball, doesn't really react quick enough. As you can see on the graphic we pulled up on the screen, I just don't think our shape is right there. If one Canuster goes for the ball, I think Dorrington needs to shift over a bit more, like we've shown with the arrow. I think he just needs to really cover as a central defensive partnership there. And Shinnimu could be a little bit more tucked in as well. But yeah, we just failed to react to the clearance, and we had so many opportunities to either foul Igaman or just, I don't know, get a challenge in, but we just couldn't seem to get the ball off of him. Great finish, but yeah, really really sloppy defending. And again, for a lot of the game, I thought we were really good defensively. I didn't think we really looked that tested even in the second half, until maybe the last 5, 10 minutes when Rangers started to be more in the ascendancy. But even then, I still think we had loads of chances in the second half. But yeah, to give away that goal in the 95th minute was absolutely sickening, and similarly bad defending, to be honest. This time we can see in the graphic that Knuster steps out. I don't know why he's done that in the 95th minute. I thought all game he did that really well, to give him some credit. I thought him and sort of Shinnie were really stepping into the challenges, and just really weren't giving players a moment's rest, and they intercepted the ball really well. But I just think at that stage of the game, you've just got to hold your line. If you look at the line there in the graphic, it's just completely skew if, like it's just no defensive line at all, and it's just free run for Dessers to go in behind. And yeah, as I said, we didn't even deal with the second ball either. Just it was lots of statues, to be honest, just watching as the ball was laid back to Hagi to score. So yeah, really frustrating. Some poor defending, and yeah, we just got to move on from that, I think.
My initial thought when the ball got played forward, Leighton Clarkson's tried to control it, not once but twice, and miscontrols it. And I'm thinking to myself, with literally, I think it was either 7 or 8 seconds to go in the game, just put it into row Z, or just hoof the ball back up the pitch. He had an opportunity, I think, to volley it straight back, and he tried to take a touch. He tried to take one of these Hollywood touches, with his immediate opponent literally within 2 yards of him, and he got robbed of the ball, and that obviously put the boy Dessers through. I don't understand the game management at all. It
Yeah,
baffles me.
yeah, it's baffling. Yeah, I thought we were guilty in the second half of sort of overplaying a bit, and I think that kind of speaks to it there. Just taking touches like that in your own half with sort of
Yeah,
5 seconds to go, as you said,
yeah.
just clear your lines. Yeah, definitely one to learn from, I think.
Okay, so we've put together a little graphic here to convey, unfortunately, how ineffective our substitutions were yesterday. Now let's take Topi Keskinen out of the equation, because there was obviously an issue there because he did ask to come off. But the other substitutions completely and utterly baffled me. Not just me, hundreds and thousands of other fans as well. I don't understand why he tinkered with what was already a winning formula. Again, I'm just scratching my. I can feel myself getting angry again.
Oh, I know, yeah, I know, yeah. We were completely the masters of our own downfall last night. I thought we were looking really good up until about sort of 60 minutes, 65 minutes. I even noted down some of the chances we had. Just immediately before the subs, we had sort of Keskinen. This was just minutes before the subs,
Yeah,
flicking the ball around the corner past Diamande, flashing the ball wide. We had a really great Shinnie cross in about 59 minutes. Nisbet should have scored in 63 minutes. This is just 1 minute before the sub, from a Jensen cutback. We looked totally in the ascendancy there, and I really think the subs just kind of took some of our momentum away from us. We still created enough chances to win the game after that, but I just couldn't understand why we made those changes. And I think the worst part of it is changing the sort of structure of the team, or just moving Shinnie from left back, where he was brilliant all game, which we'll come into in the graphic, but he was brilliant in the left wing, to then move him into midfield. I don't know why you wouldn't just put a like for like sub with Polvara and Palaversa, to be honest. I
yeah,
can understand why you take Palaversa off, because he was on a yellow card and potentially been sent off.
yeah.
But I just don't know why you wouldn't put Polvara in. And as we mentioned, the other subs that came on in the 64th minute were really largely ineffective. I think when you look at some of the stats we've got on screen here, looking at sort of passing numbers, Jensen was brilliant on the ball yesterday with sort of creating chances, crosses. Whereas Shinnie was a sort of different role on the left wing from fullback. He was a lot more dribbles, just driving forward. He had so much energy on the left wing. And really getting into the box as well, which I really liked. And then Morris, which we'll come on to later on, just brilliant sort of direct play as usual from him. Lots of dribbles. He had the beat of Curtis sort of all game on that wing. I mean, Rangers probably couldn't believe their luck taking Morris off, to be honest, because he was running absolutely riot. And even to give Ockles a shout out, I thought he was pretty good when he came on for him. But to change the game around like that and the structure of the team, I couldn't understand. And then if you look at the numbers for combined numbers for Daba, Sockler, and Devlin, it's pretty grim reading, to be honest. Just a complete lack of involvement in the game and just really ineffectual, to be honest. So yeah, one where maybe we got the subs wrong. I don't think he's done that too often this season, but yeah, I think he got that one wrong last
Yeah.
night.
Okay, let's finish off our chat on a more positive note. And I thought Shaden Morris again yesterday was absolutely outstanding. And as just to reiterate the point, cannot for the life of me understand why he came off. I don't buy into this looking ahead to another game when you need to finish your business first and get the game that you're playing out of the way first. And it's a week away. The Scottish Cup semi-final is a week away. And I cannot understand if that was the track of thought. For me, that's nonsense. But let's be positive. He was outstanding yesterday, particularly in the first half.
Yeah, he was brilliant. We saw a lot of similar sort of patterns as play from recent weeks in terms of really looking to get 1v1s and sort of overloads out wide to get the most out of Morris. I thought we did that again brilliantly yesterday. It was interesting, even some of the stuff we've picked out in recent weeks, sort of us going three at the back in possession with Clarkson in the middle, playing a lot of long balls off of Pape and really trying to get lots of these numerical advantages. I thought it all worked really well, but as always, sort of direct wing play was like the hallmark of our sort of performance yesterday, or at least in the first half or first 60 minutes. We just did a really good job of creating these 1v1s. And where it wasn't a 1v1, it really sort of forced Rangers to really double up on Morris. And we'll show that in the example here that where we couldn't get a 1v1, you could see that creates space for other players. So in this example, Morris, the threat of him is he's got such a threat from out wide and with his pace and direct running that clearly they feel the need to have more than one man marking him. That frees up Jensen, as we can see here. He puts a brilliant cross into the box. But unfortunately, Pape this time couldn't convert. But that just shows, look at the space that Jensen's in there. That just shows the threat that Morris brings. And then when you go into the sort of second example with Morris, this is the one time where maybe it's a bit further in the game. You saw the threat of Jensen from deep there, so Rangers maybe press him a little bit further up and give this time Morris a bit of space. And when we do get him 1v1, he's just brilliant at sort of slowing players down, sizing them up, squaring them up, and then just shifting the ball past them. It's like one of those players that you know what they're going to do, but you just can't stop it. Like it's yeah, absolutely brilliant to watch. And yeah, I thought he was terrific again. I just really hope I'd really like to see more of him at the weekend in the cup semi-final. I'm just really hoping we build on a lot of the positives that we saw from our attacking play. Because for 60, 70 minutes, I thought it was a really outstanding performance. So hopefully more of that to come.
Yeah, well, let's finish on that, mate, because I have to be honest. If we play like how we played in the first half yesterday over a longer period of time, and we keep banging on about how we want to play a 90-minute game of football. Us as Aberdeen fans at the moment are just craving for a 90-minute of decent football. And I think if we play like we did in the first half, I think we'll have too much for Hearts. I think we should be okay. But hey, I thought we were going to be okay yesterday at 2-0.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really frustrating because we'd have had such momentum then moving into the game. Like I feel like we've had such a positive performance there, and it's kind of sapped a bit of our momentum out of
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
It would be us on the high and Hearts on the low after not making top six. Yeah, I think if we do play like that, and we get our tactics right again, I think we could totally overwhelm Hearts. But they do look like a good side, and I think they're definitely better than what their league position shows. I really do think they're a better side than the likes of sort of Dundee United, to be honest. So yeah, I think it'll be a really testing game. I'm sure they'll be up for it because this is all they've got to play for now. Whereas we've got still a really tough set of fixtures coming the post split, but or in the split. But yeah, I just really hope we can continue that sort of level of performance into next week.
Brilliant. All right, fella, thank you so much for coming on. I know it was a tough one tonight, so thank you for your efforts, and I'll see you again next week.
Yeah, no problem. See you next
All
week.
right, mate. Ta-da. My thanks to Andrew. Here's what the manager had to say about the second half.
No, we talked about it after. I think it was not what we wanted, but something this can happen. It's difficult to explain, but you get more time on the ball. They play low block. They're waiting for a transition movement. Instead of attacking them and go for the 3-1, we hesitated and don't play enough in their box instead of outside the box, and then they pick up some balls, get some transitions, and score this early goal. And after that, I think still we should go for stronger as a team, aggressiveness, and arriving more for the 3-1 instead of afraid to lose into 1. I don't think the players were afraid, but something happened there that it's difficult to explain sometimes when you get time on the ball, and instead of playing more aggressive to attack the box, you get to end up sideways and hesitations, and that was a really tough learning point for us too. But it can happen in football sometimes. Maybe we haven't spoken so much about it if it's 2-1 victory, but still, even if we get away with this one, we have to be much more what we are good at, like arriving to the box, the crosses earlier, more players inside the box, and don't give them so many transitions as we did in the second half.
Right, guys, let's get you on. It's about time we start getting your thoughts. It's going to be a busy one tonight, no doubt. Hey, right, Neil Sinclair's on, wishing you a good evening. Barry Cole said that was Toppy's best game in a red shirt. Michael Taylor says, evening Ali and fellow Dons fans, we only have ourselves to blame for yesterday's shenanigans, unfortunately. David Gold, Rally Vids, says the subs killed it for us. Why, oh why, move Shinnie from left back? He was absolutely bossing it. We lost all our width with the subs, awful defending at the end. It should have been a 2 or a 3-0 win. Neil Sinclair came back to say hugely disappointing result yesterday, but first half they looked excellent. They did. You're absolutely right, Neil. Martin Smith says how we didn't see that game out is terrible. Both goals on the dreaded punt down the middle. David Horn says, good evening fellow dandies, still gutted after the game yesterday, but if missed so much chances, you don't deserve to win. Paul Donaldson says, I've seen a few people saying he took off Keskinen and Morris at the same time with one eye on the semi-final next weekend. So Keskinen, just to clear it all up, Toppy asked to come off. Just before Kevin Nisbet had an opportunity where he fluffed his lines and put the ball wide, Toppy took a bit of a knock. He took a bit of a clattering. The next thing you see is him going over to the bench, and there was a minor discussion, and a couple of minutes later he was taken off. So he obviously had been struggling with a knock and asked to come off. But as we discussed, I just don't understand the Shaden Morris one at all. Rodney J. Lenny says, lack of concentration that cost that second goal. Kaiser says, there's far too many of these feelings after games. Michael Taylor says, felt numb at full time, just frozen completely. Hayden Ritchie says, I think everyone's the same opinion that the substitutions changed the whole complex of the game. Poor management decision. Rod Cow says that he was absolutely spewing yesterday. Letting them get a goal so early in the second half changed the dynamic. It made it a lot more nervy. You barely notice that they were a man down, gutting. Scott Robertson says, yesterday was a kick in the guts. Should have hounded them, but we've let them off the hook big time. Disappointed, doesn't even cover it. Barry Cole makes a good point. He says, watch Nisbet having a go at Toppy a couple of times when he could have squared it, yet how many did Nisbet miss? Neil's on, wishing you all a good evening. John Robertson says, it feels like a defeat. Subs very questionable. Full house let down by a sloppy second half. They were there for the taking, but dearie me. Richard Wilkinson says that he's still furious. I think we'll be talking about this one for a while, and even more so if we don't get a result at Hampden come the weekend. Kaiser, like so many of you have said, Dante Palvara should have replaced Palaversa. I agree. John Moore's on. He said the third is gone for us. Maybe fourth. Post-split fixtures, the 2 away games against St Mirren and United are crucial. Paul Hurd's asking, you've got to wonder why Polvara gets a place on the bench but never gets on. He's either fit or he isn't. Some of you are suggesting that you think the manager doesn't rate Dante. Paul Donaldson says Sevco's first goal was a really poor one. A total mix-up with our 2 central defenders, and Shinnie was nearby too. One of them should have got to the ball. Yep, as we've just shown you. Hugh Burns makes a good point. He says, what should not be forgotten about this game, however, is the plethora of chances that we created and missed. Neil Sinclair says, look to me that Shinnie has found his position to take him to retirement in a few seasons. Played excellent at fullback. He did, mate. Bruce Struthers says, when Devlin came on, you could see the massive difference in quality between him and Jensen. No way that Devlin gets back in the team. Jensen is on a totally different level. Alexander Wallace said, still reeling and baffled by the collapse in the second half. Play like that this week and we will get roasted by Hearts. Graham Gibb is asking, like so many of us, when are we going to get a 90-minute performance? Martin Smith says, even if the subs were ineffective, they're professional footballers and should have seen that game out easily. It wasn't like constant pressure in the last 5 minutes of extra time that seemed to go on. You know, when we look at it, you know, when the boy played the ball through for Dessers, there was literally 6 seconds on the clock to go. 6 seconds. I can't get my head around it. Kaiser says that DeBag and Sokla offered very little when they came on. Sevco had 10 players, but we were down to 9. Jason Campbell said, I'd like Yumi to show a bit of passion now and again. The statue Goodwin-esque figure on the sideline is hardly inspiring. Also, the repetitive humdrum interviews where it sounds like he isn't fussed. Stanley Roddy says, that could well be the 2 points that costs us third place. Don't they realise how much this game means to us, the fans? A lot of you were not impressed with the bag yesterday when he came on. Nowhere near good enough, Hugh says. A lot of you, again, are talking about Kevin Nisbet's disallowed goal. You know, look, unfortunately, as much as I hate the rule, it's the rules of the games. It's the rule of the games these days. Unfortunately, it's clearly bounced up and hit him in and around the elbow area. You know, I don't agree with it. What's he supposed to do? It's not as if he's deliberately put his arm there to allow the ball to hit him, to then put the ball in a position for him to shoot at goal. He's not even. I think his eyes are on the ball the whole time. So what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to put your arms behind your back. This is why I just think this law needs to be binned. It's caused far too many issues. It's too much of a grey area and it's spoiling the game. Just another one of these rules for the sake of changing a rule. Spoiling the game, I think. Graham Gibbs says, Warriors' semi-final on Saturday is between two teams who are more worried about consequences of losing rather than trying to win. That's an interesting point, mate. Kaiser says, if we don't beat Hibs in the first game, that's it for third. Yep. Neil Sinclair suggesting that Hibs game could be the hardest of the lot. Xander Moore is saying, Hibs look incredible. It'll be tough to finish third. Hope we can pull out a few big results. Craig Thompson has said, look, we can get third, but we must win against Hibs. Roddy Keenan is on, saying a belated good evening to everybody. Substitutions definitely changed it. Shinnie was terrific in the first half. Surprised he was switched. Yeah, Lee Taylor's saying exactly the same what we've just said. I can accept the Nisbet goal being disallowed, although I don't agree with the rule. But why is Dessa's handball not checked? It was a one. Joke. Rod Cow says Clarkson played great, which made his missed touch at the end even more sickening. He will learn from those moments, and besides, we should have buried the game long before that anyway. No, you're quite right, Rod. You are quite right, mate. Richard Wilkinson came back to say JT identifies the problem in this interview and identifies the solution. So how he didn't address it on the park is beyond me. Richard says that he's raging. Craig Pilgrim says, of course, it's a no-win situation. If we saw the game out and got the 3 points, the story wouldn't be Aberdeen win it. It would be Celtic win the league. Down with Glasgow Fitba. M says, quite simply, we need to pick ourselves up and we need to push on. Scott McLean says, we'll still get, we'll get into Europe by winning the cup. So chill. I like that. I like that, Scott. Right, so today, it's a very special day in the club's history because on this day, back in 1903, Aberdeen Football Club officially became the club that we know today. So happy 122nd birthday to Aberdeen Football Club. And in that time, we've been crowned champions 4 times. We've won the Scottish Cup 7 times. We've won the Scottish League Cup 6 times. We, of course, won the Cup Winners' Cup and the Super Cup. Twice we've won the Drybrook Cup. And let's not forget that we were voted Team of the Year in 1983. So many happy returns to our football club. Right, one last thing to do before we say goodnight. Don't forget to like the show if you've enjoyed it tonight. Hope you enjoyed the analytical piece. Thank you for all your comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed what you've watched. We're well over 2,300 now, and we continue to push up to 4,500. That's the next goal that I'm looking at. And then I'd like to push on to 5,000 after that. So if you haven't already subscribed, I'd be absolutely delighted if you would please consider it. Doesn't cost you anything. All you're doing is basically, in effect, very much like Facebook and X and Instagram, you're just following a page. So I'd be very, very grateful if you would consider it. Let's just see if there's 1 or 2 last comments come in, and then I'm going to wish you all a good night. Barry Cole says, let's not forget the Tenant Sixes. As is Richard, Tenant Sixes? Yeah, I'm sorry. Barry Cole saying that he hopes Toppy is fit for Saturday. Yep. Neil says it was a very long 2-hour drive home yesterday. It was very quiet. Steve Cowie says, they did not equalise. We let them. Poor game management again. Kaiser says, if we held out, I'd still be pointing out the mistakes Talene made. We made hard work of that yesterday when there was absolutely no need. I agree. Right, so, just to let you know that this week I am definitely going in for my surgery that got cancelled a couple of weeks ago. So I'm in on Thursday to have this procedure done as I continue this battle to recover from ulcerative colitis. Now, I'm in on Wednesday for a pre-op meeting with my doctors. So that will let me know roughly how long I've got to stay in hospital. And I'm really hoping I don't have to stay in hospital too long, because I desperately want to do a preview show ahead of the game on Saturday, because obviously it's a huge game. So my thinking is this. If for some miraculous reason I get out of hospital on Friday after the operation and the surgery, which is highly unlikely. But if I do, I will definitely do a show on Friday night. If I don't get out of hospital, and I'll know this by Wednesday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-record a show. And I'm going to record the links and record the show in the studio here on Wednesday. And then I will put it out on Friday night as a pre-record, so it won't be live. So just keep an eye on my social media channels, because obviously I'll keep you all up to date about whether I can do a live show on Friday night or not. As it stands, considering that I'm having the surgery on Thursday, I'm not sure that's going to be possible. But I'm going to do my very best, my absolute best, because I really want to be here. So guys, try and enjoy your week. Let's forget about yesterday. It's gone now. Now it's all about finishing the season as strongly as we can and getting to a cup final. So there's still plenty more to look forward to. 6 more games. 6 more. We can still push for third. We're only a handful of points behind. And we've got a cup semi-final to look forward to, where I have every confidence if we play the first half over a 90-minute period, we will damage Hearts. So there's plenty still to look forward to. So let's forget about yesterday and let's end tonight's show in a positive mental frame of mind. Thank you for coming on. I've really enjoyed your company, as I always do. And hopefully I'll see you in the next few days. Stand free.